So, I will know in a little over 9 days whether or not this one will behave properly and not bug if I don't assign them to anything before then, but they'd also not be relocating. But just to not push my luck, one variable at a time. If already being in the correct location, meaning they're not going to go anywhere, if they, well, no. I think it was just that I assigned them when they were young, so it bugged the job. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until they're actually grown officially, and then assign them. And then he will stop being in the place he doesn't belong. Because these mean you should not fucking be here. Other than that, I had an observation and realization about place everywhere that I think I got wrong when I had been testing with trees in Samanja with the last save. Because with the resizing, I thought it was the textures on the leaves were distorted, but I thought it was from the resizing. I don't actually want a green one, I want the yellow-green. What I realized is that I don't think that was it. I think it was the twisting, because I was doing something else and I noticed that the twisting with it, actually, let's do this over here. The twisting, it's not showing it so well with this, but it was smearing and fucking up the textures. But as soon as I pick it up and put it right back down exactly where it was, it cleaned it up. So I think that is what the problem had actually been. You do weird things when you're resized. You also weren't telling me how big you were. But yeah, so I think that was the issue, and I can in fact get things to be the right size in the right place. You don't need to be perfect, but I want you to be close. But yeah, let me actually find an in-betweener size tree. Now, would it be better to size up a smaller one? Or shrink a bigger one? less branchy and more tall. I am actually keeping count, since it's not broadcasting the... Yeah, it wasn't the resizing, it was the twisting, because those leaves look fine. Your trunk's a little thicker, but you're roughly the right size. Yeah. The twisting is the problem. But, yeah, I just wanted to, well, one, show that, yes, that is absolutely the same tree, just with leaves. And that I did figure out what the problem was there, so I can have them be better fits now that it's not. That ended up being the right height and less branchy, but I am curious. Since it requires less change, it's not that hard to set that one up again. It requires less change for a small tree to get. The other ones are more branchy than you. Yeah. To get you taller so that you're the right height for that. Face roughly that way, I guess. I want to be able to be looking up to see the comparison, but alas. Well, now you're broadcasting that. Trunk and height are good. Yeah. Trunk size and height are good. And yeah. Oh, actually nudging you over fixed the issue there. not gonna line up perfectly, because the rest of the trees aren't perfect matches to all the other trees. Just that one. No, that's not what I... I will maybe make you that notch bigger, though. Anyway. I figured out what it was, and I am happy about having figured out what it was, because that means I can be unnecessarily obsessive about shit that doesn't matter. But I suppose knowing what the texture problem was that was rotating, means that when I'm trying to use it for other shit too, that will also be useful. Because, yeah, just pick it up and put it back down and it fixes it. I have some weird map markers because of mod that plunks me in places. Because I had gone over and done this stuff, I figured, well, I can just swim down and deal with that, because I had gotten the go find loot there. That was half accidental. I'm not actually doing anything there. I am not entirely sure what I want to do next, because I don't have any more big creatures to send to be provisioners anywhere. So expanding in that regard isn't necessary, which is why I started weeding out some of the weird little things in there. I may end up just at least re-getting the go to other places map markers, because I got to the point where I was actually going to Far Harbor. So maybe going and fetching those map markers, especially since I am not that far from either of them. Maybe the next thing to do. Because I've got 9 days to kill in-game time before I see whether or not that super mutant's viable at all. And I did actually remember to make a proper game save before they were born, just in case they ended up broken, so that I can just, the more time I spend post that, the more I don't want to have to go back to before they popped. But that was more in case child phase was broken. Because the ones I lug around sometimes age up funny, but also sometimes the ones that pop age up funny. Speaking of ones I lug around maybe aging up funny, since I was somewhere where synths show up, I've never actually done enough of the railroad to see what goes on in that old folks home. The one in Salem, that has the synths there. I've done enough to, anyway, I found and fixed that. So I will eventually get to find out how that one works out. But yeah. The basement of the coffee shop in Lexington, of course, I've done enough to see. I don't actually have the map marker for going down into the subway lines and the Raiders and Synths down there. But I have gotten that job where, oh, we were both assigned to do this task. No, I don't need your help, Glory, thanks. But there are other, actually the Boston Mayoral Shelter. I also know synths show up there when I'm in there, and I've never had the plot related to why that happens. So, yeah. Just actually, I do want Deliverer. I could go get that started instead. Anyway, thoughts about what I might do next and what that'll mean for how I end up exploring. But mostly it's, I have 9 days in game to figure that out, and these have the same 9 months, so 9 days as humans and ghouls. So I have some in-game time to kill, waiting on seeing how those may or may not work out. Because that'll be curious. I do have a concern with the synths, because the ones that are out and about have junk. And I mean, once it's an adult, I should be able to clothe them. They always give them hymns, because, well, they've all got the junk that coordinates with assuming they're a hymn. But anyway, yeah. The synth will age up, it will have junk. I may or may not be able to cover it appropriately with clothing. So, another thing I'm wondering about how that will work out. And I won't know until I know. Hopefully it's not an issue, because I don't want to have to deal with it if it is. But yeah, I just wanted to show the little bit of realization and progress. And